गोपी जनवाला गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवाला गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Ma Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada जय गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय प्रभुपाद तिरुभाव महामहोत्सव की जय नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय इत्येतात् कथितं गुर्वी ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मदर्शनं येन भूत्यति तत्त्वं प्रकृते पुरुषैश्च इत्येतात् कथितं गुर्वी ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मदर्शनं येन बुध्यते तत्त्वं प्रकृते पुरुषस्य च एतात् कथितं गुर्वे ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मदर्शनं येनानुभूत्यते तत्त्वं प्रकृते पुरुषस्य च इति एतात् कथितं गुर्वे ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मदर्शनं येन बुध्यते तत्त्वं प्रकृते पुरुषस्य च. Would anyone like to repeat? Iti, thus, etat, this, katitam, describe, gurvi, or respectful mother, jnanam, knowledge, tat, that, Brahma, the absolute truth, darshanam, revealing, yena, by which, anubhutyate, is understood, tattvam, the truth, prakriti, of matter, purushasya, of spirit, cha, and. My dear respectful mother, I had already described the path of understanding the absolute truth by which one can come to understand the real truth of matter and spirit and their relationship. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Tamscha Shri Savatam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Shri Krishna Padam Sahaganalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanam Sate Devi Parama Hari Pre. So today's Prabhupada's disappearance day. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye tamam prabhadante tam sataya prashami. That means as the intensity with which one approaches the Lord, in that intensity the Lord reciprocates. In whatever way people surrender to me, I reciprocate accordingly. Everyone follows my path knowingly or unknowingly, O son of Pratha. But Guru is way more merciful, even more merciful than Krishna. I'm not able to remember which lecture, but I was listening to a lecture where they were narrating the glories of Guru, and they were narrating this story that once a person desired to accept the shelter of a guru. So he walked, and he was a rich man. So he got to know that his guru is in some other town, and because he was a rich man, he had servants who could carry him in a palanquin. When they carried him to the palanquin, and they stopped at at the town where his guru lived. So when the palanquin was kept down, he was asking, "Where is my guru's house? Where is my guru?" And one of the servants who was assisting him carrying the assisting the others in carrying the palanquin, says that I'm your guru and this is my town. And then what we can learn from this story is that if someone desires to take one step towards Krishna or towards Guru takes 10 steps. Guru carried him throughout, like to his own hometown, and he was ready to even carry his palanquin just so that he's able to walk on the right direction, which is ultimately walking towards the direction of Krishna. So Guru is way more merciful than Krishna, and it's Prabhupada's Tevabhav Mahamahotsav. And thank you so much, Deepti Mataji, for such a wonderful decoration, and Ed Prabhu for such wonderful kirtan. I would like to bow down at the lotus feet of all you devotees and beg for mercy that whatever I'm able to speak, I'm able to imbibe that in my character, and whatever I'm able to say, even half of that, if I'm able to experience, or if half of that I'm genuinely able to realize, I would think that to be the perfection of my life. So there's a very beautiful bhajan which His Holiness Jayaprakash Swami Maharaj wrote in memory of his Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. The name of the Vaishnava bhajan is Yadi Prabhupada Na Hoita. So Prabhupada's glories are to be sung, and they are revealed through the discipline and through the character of his disciples, through the disciples' love towards Srila Prabhupada. So this is one such humble offering which His Holiness Jayaprakash Maharaj made at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. And on the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada, I thought this is a very good way to remember Prabhupada's pastimes and Prabhupada's relationship with his disciples. So we'll sing one stanza, we'll get the translation, and we'll talk about a few pastimes relating to that stanza, that shloka. Yadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito, e jivana bahita kishe. You can repeat after me if you want. Yadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito, e jivana bahita kishe. Nitai gaurera apara karuna, kedita sakala deshe. Nitai gaurera apara karuna, kedita shikala deshe. Yadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoito, e jivana parita klishe. Srila Prabhupada. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? How else would we have distributed the ultimate mercy, unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world? So we all know how many problems Prabhupada faced when he was on his venture to preach in the Western world, and we all know that Prabhupada was given this instruction at the banks of Radhakund. His most worshipable spiritual master had instructed him that if you ever get money, print books, and don't get engaged in the war, because he said that very soon there'll be a fire in the Gaudiya Math. Why? Because his disciples were already fighting who would take the next position, who would be the next Acharya after Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj said that if I knew what would have happened, I would have sold the marble of the Park Bazaar temple, and I would have printed books out of from the money we would have received from that. So we know that Prabhupada, and it was not just Prabhupada who was asked to preach in the West. A lot of disciples were asked to preach in the English language in the Western world. But it was just Prabhupada who actually took it to his heart, who made it his life's mission. And he goes, we all know the story how Prabhupada begs Srimati Murarji for a ticket. And firstly she is reluctant, obviously because she loves Prabhupada. She doesn't want Prabhupada to suffer. She says that Prabhupada, if you go out in the West, you're a vegetarian, you're a sannyasi, and we're talking about 60, 70 years back. So it's very difficult for you to live there, and you're 70 years old. How will you manage? So, but still Prabhupada said that Krishna has a plan, and Krishna will provide for me. I have to fulfill the desire of my Gurudev, and he sat on the doorstep of Srimati Murarji's office, and finally he did get the ticket, and he went in the Jaladuta ship, and he even suffered 2 heart attacks, and celebrated Janmashtami in the ship, and he was suffering through major seasickness, and still Prabhupada did not give up, did not deter. He was praying to the Lord, and he had this dream that all the incarnations, Matsya, Kurma, Singh, Bhavan, Ram, Parshuram, Balram, Kalki, all of them were helping him, and they were actually the ones who were sailing the ship, and he had these experiences with and I would say that his whole life was preparation for the exam which he was about to which he was giving, and he wrote the very famous Jaladuta prayers when he was in the ship. Prabhupada reached Boston, and there's this lady Sally Agarwal, and so what happened was Prabhupada had requested a lot of people, because in those days you were supposed to be sponsored by someone if you want to go to the West. So Prabhupada had requested a lot of people, and there was this friend of his, Mr. Agarwal, whose son married a British woman, Sally, in Boston. So they sponsored, but they did not really expect that someone would actually show up. And when Prabhupada wrote a letter that this is, and with a photo of his with that grave look on his face, he said that he wrote that I'm coming, and thank you so much for sponsoring me. And Sally Agarwal goes to her husband and says, he's coming, he's actually coming. And the husband said, who's coming? What happened? Why are you panicking so much? So Sally Agarwal shows her husband the photo, and Prabhupada had that grave look on his face. It's a very interesting photo. If you ever get a chance, you should definitely have a look. So Sally, when they met Srila Prabhupada was wearing a saffron dhoti. They used to call that a bed sheet. So Prabhupada was wrapped in a bed sheet. He was having a danda, and they were very perplexed, and they were very confused that what kind of a person is coming to what kind of a civilization, and how would the people in the West react to it. Imagine a person walking with a danda in his hand, dressed in weird saffron bed sheets. So they got a press conference, and they said that this person is living with us. This person is no harmless. This person is here for propagating and professing the Krishna conscious movement, and all of that. It's very humorous if someone actually reads Prabhupada Amrit the way Satswarup Maharaj describes it. It's very interesting. So Prabhupada cooks at Mukunda and Janki's wedding. So Mukunda and Janki, they were basically girlfriends and girlfriend. And Prabhupada said that why do you why living in an illicit relationship? And so Mukunda and Janki said, so is there no position, no space for love in Krishna conscious movement? So Prabhupada said, of course there is. Why don't you get married? So they said, who will get us married? So Prabhupada said, I'll get you guys married. And being a sannyasi, he did the wedding ceremony. He conducted the wedding ceremony of Mukund Prabhu and Janaki Mataji. And it's really fascinating to see how Prabhupada starts from the scratch. He shows Mukund Prabhu how to drape a sari, so that Mukund Prabhu goes and assists Janaki Mataji and teaches her how to wear sari. He teaches Mukund Prabhu how to wear dhoti. He's cooking for their wedding, and that's where Yamuna Mataji also comes. And the first time I was listening to this tape, or it's Prabhupada's disciples remember him. So Yamuna Mataji was sharing that she went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, can I go for a cigarette? She was helping Prabhupada in cooking the feast for Janaki Mataji's wedding. So Prabhupada had asked Janaki Mataji and Mukund Prabhu to call their family members, and it was more like a cultural shock. So no one came from their side, but from Janaki Mataji's side, her sister Yamuna came, and she said that they're all very new in Krishna consciousness. Yamuna Mataji she was introduced to Krishna consciousness for the first time. So she said that, so how can I serve you, or how can I assist in my sister's wedding? So Prabhupada said that you help me in cooking. So she said, Prabhupada, I'm feeling very thirsty. This is the first time she's interacting with Prabhupada. So she says, Prabhupada, I'm feeling thirsty. So Prabhupada says, go wash your hands. And then Prabhupada teaches her and instructs her that when we are serving Krishna and when we are serving devotees, we should not think about our sense gratification or our sensory comfort, but we should think about serving Krishna. We have to take care of all the purity, all the Shuchi Muchi Prabhupada is trying to explain in a very easy layman's term, and he's trying to explain that to Yamuna Devi. So that is the type of reciprocation he's having with his Western devotees. And all the guests at Mukund Prabhu and Janaki Mataji's wedding were mostly they were hippies, and they were on a microbiotic diet. That means they would generally survive on raw foodstuffs. So when Prabhupada made gulab jamuns and kachoris and everything, so the hippies looked at it and they were perplexed, and they were not exactly, they were confused that there's such delicious prasadam right in front of them. And one of the hippies said, to hell with my microbiotic diet, I'm gonna have this feast. And all the hippies just forgot about their microbiotic diet and they just relished the kachori. And one hippie devotee said that whoever made this kachori, I dedicate my life to them. So it was that delicious. This was in Radha Damodar temple once. Prabhupada made samosas for the devotees. And Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj told Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I've had samosa at so many places and so many house programs, but this samosa is out of the world. It's simply wonderful. So Prabhupada said that, yes, I followed Yashoda Mai's recipe today. So this is the level of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is not a sadhana siddha bhakta, he's a nitya siddha devotee. And he has come from Golok, straight from Golok, just to help in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and to deliver us. Paschatya Deshatarine. If you see his pranam mantra, he has done something which no one has ever done. Prithvi te ache chatan nagaradigram sarvata prachar oi monam Chaitanya Charitamrita. When we know how when disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj were reading this, so they were confused that maybe this is like a hyper exaggeration. because Prithvi at that time, Gaudiya Siddhant or Vaishnavism or Krishna consciousness, the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was only restricted to the eastern part of India, not even the whole India, not even all the parts of India, just the eastern part of India. And they were confused that, okay, max to max, with the help of and support of these disciples and our God brothers, we can propagate the movement and we can propagate the Krishna conscious movement in all the parts of India. So maybe that means Prithvi, or maximum Asia as a continent can be Prithvi. But little did they know that Prabhupada was actually a Grasta at that time. He's actually preparing to take a giant leap, just like Hanumanji did. To Hanumanji took a giant leap to Sri Lanka to get Sita Mai back, to get Bhakti back. Similarly, Prabhupada took a giant leap and got and awakened that lost, that forgotten Bhakti in us, and got the servants back to Krishna and Vrindavan. So there's a very humorous pastime. It's Prabhupada and the banana dance. So once Prabhupada goes to a nightclub, he was invited by the hippies there, and so he sees people dressed in banana costumes and they're dancing and they're celebrating. And Prabhupada asked one of his disciples, what are they celebrating? So he said that they're having this banana festival. So they said, what is this banana festival? So the disciple said that they've recently discovered that if you burn the peel if you take the banana peel and burn it, it gives you the similar intoxication as the intoxication you get when you smoke ganja. So they've discovered that and they're celebrating that. And Prabhupada is getting this cultural shock, and he's saying, when I came from India to the Western world, I had no idea what I'm signing up for, what I will experiencing, what I'll be experiencing. And this is and the next day Prabhupada's servant comes to him and says that hippies have given this offer to you, that every day they will offer 10 kgs of banana to Jagannath, but the condition is that we have to give the peels back to them, so that obviously they can smoke off and get high. So the second stanza would be पाश्चातेरयत पापी दुराचारी स्नयवेद मायावादी तादेर उतार करिबे मन हेन कोनो दयानिधि यदि प्रभुपाद न होइतो तबे की होइतो ए जीवन परित क्लेशे. Which other compassionate person would have endeavored to deliver the miscreants, sinful, impersonalistic and voidlistic people in the West? So, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in this lecture tells the story that there was once in Advait Bhavan in Mayapur, the pujari over there shares that there used to be a grahastha who would come every day in the morning and would sit at the back of the temple, wouldn't talk to anyone, wouldn't speak, and would just do his chanting. And with the intensity and with the force and with the love he would do his chanting. He's never seen anyone chant like that. And he would do his rounds, and sometimes he would even see that grahastha crying. Anyway, time passed by, and for a few years he noticed that grahastha had stopped coming. And then after a few years, he saw that same grahastha in sannyasi robes, in saffron clothes and danda, and coming to Advait Bhavan and doing and chanting. And after his rounds, he goes to take darshan of the deities and thanks the pujari for such a wonderful service he's rendering to their lordships, and then begs for mercy and says that I'm an insignificant servant of my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, and he's given me in order to preach in the West, but I'm confused and I'm I'm in a dilemma how I will do this wonderful and this most difficult task, and please pray for me, and I beg you for your mercy. And this happened, and slowly and steadily, just seeing Prabhupada's engagement and how engrossed Prabhupada was in chanting the holy names, he had developed such wonderful appreciation, such wonderful connection. Although they never spoke, but they had a very deep and very profound connection with each other. Anyway, years passed by, and he noticed something very unusual happening in Mayapur. He saw Western devotees gathering up and chanting, and going in the streets of Mayapur. And he had never gone out of Bengal, forget about going out of India. So it was very unusual for him to see. And just passing by in the Nagar, in Nam Sankirtan, one devotee handed out a back to Butter magazine to him. And when he flipped through the pages, at the last page he saw Prabhupada's photo. And he said, it's him, it's that same sannyasi who came at Advait Bhavan, and it's the same person who used to engage in Krishna's engage in such profound chanting. And this was something he was sharing with Prabhupada's disciples after Prabhupada departed. That such wonderful that the journey of Srila Prabhupada and the preparation he did. People in a similar kind of a story comes where people in Radha Damodar temple would often hear voices of Prabhupada speaking to someone, and they said that Prabhupada would chant 100 rounds every day, and he would weep near the samadhi of Rup Sanatana Goswami, in front of Rup Goswami's samadhi, and beg for empowerment and mercy. So, and we can understand what Prabhupada gave through this small story which comes in the life instance which comes in the life of His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, where he was from an affluent family, and Giriraj Maharaj's parents got him to go to got a psychiatrist to come, and they thought that maybe the psychiatrist could help their son who was brainwashed in the Krishna conscious movement. So the psychiatrist comes and talks with Giriraj Maharaj and says that do you have any problems? Is there something bothering you in life? And Giriraj Maharaj says, yes, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So whatever questions the psychiatrist is asking, Maharaj is giving quotations from Bhagavad Gita and giving answers from Bhagavad Gita. And then the psychiatrist comes out of the room and says, if I spend another half an hour with your son, I'll become a Hare Krishna devotee. Your son is permanently damaged. And then when Giriraj Maharaj goes and tells this to Prabhupada, that this is what the psychiatrist had to say. Prabhupada said, Jai, even the psychiatrist has confirmed our Giriraj is permanently damaged, permanently Krishna conscious. He's a permanent Krishna devotee. So we'll go on this third verse. Deshe deshe hari vigraha seva arati ratri dine rata yatradi mahotsava sabashikahite कौन जान यदि प्रभुपाद न होते तबे की होइतो ये जीवन परित्यागीशे. So, who else would have taught them how to worship the deity form of Lord Hari day and night with Aarti and Kirtan, and how to conduct the Rath Yatra and other grand festivities? So, Prabhupada, so this story comes that Prabhupada is going to New Zealand and he goes there and they had Gauranatai deities initially, but they also desired to have Jagannath deities in their temple. But they did not have a lot of space. So anyway, Prabhupada goes, he bows down and he offers his obeisances he offers his obeisances to Gauranatai. When he gets up, he sees Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai. What the devotees had done was they had installed a motor on the altar and it was like a revolving altar. So Gauranatai and Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai. So Prabhupada bowed down to Gauranatai, but when he got up, he saw Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai and he was so perplexed. He was so confused and he said that nice idea, but you can't treat the deity form of the Lord in this way. So then anyway, that tradition was changed. A proper altar was made, and everything happened. So the story comes how Jagannath Ji manifested in our ISKCON family. It was actually Malati Mataji who. Because she knew that Prabhupada was from India, so she goes to this Indian store and a lot of artifacts are kept of there, and she sees this black colored doll, and devotees did not have a lot of money in those days, so she steals that deity, that doll, and gets to the temple and puts it on the table of Prabhupada. And the minute Prabhupada and the second Prabhupada see that doll, he offers his pranam, and Malati asks that why are you offering your obeisances onto this doll? So Prabhupada said that this is not a doll. This is the Lord of the universe himself, Sri Jagannath himself, and he says that where you got this from, there would be two more deities. One would be a yellow one and one would be a white colored deity. Go and get them. Now Malati Mataji did not pay for them, so she went to that shop and stole those two deities also, and got them in her bag and came back and put it on the table of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada asked Malati Mataji to get her husband Shamsundar Prabhu, and they were recent. It was very recent that they were introduced to Krishna consciousness through their friends. So Prabhupada said that who can carve? We want big size deities. Who can carve and replicate these small deities in a bigger size? So Malati Mataji said that my husband knows a bit of carving. So Shamsundar Prabhu was summoned, and he said, and Prabhupada said that can you make these deities? And Shamsundar Prabhu said, why not, Prabhu? Of course, I'll make them. So on the roof of his house, Shamsundar Prabhu is making these deities, and Prabhupada is just coming for just to check up on how the progress of the deity making is. So Prabhupada sees that there's an ashtray kept on Baldev's hand, and there's a half burnt cigarette on the floor, and there's a dog, on near the roof, and Prabhupada goes and tells Shamsundar Prabhu that why do you let a cigarette come between you and Krishna? And surprisingly, by the time the deities were finished, Shamsundar Prabhu's habit of smoking, he got rid of it, and that's what happens when a pure devotee prays or devotee empowers you with his instruction. So Jagannath deities were manifested in San Francisco, and installation ceremony. Nowadays, when we have installation ceremony in our ISKCON temples, it's like a 3-day Mahotsava, 3-day festival with so many yajnas and netron milan and so many rituals happening. But in those days, Prabhupada got his hippie disciples. He told them that just offer this lamp just offer this lamp around Jagannath, and his disciple asked, for how long? Till the time you don't get tired. So just offering that arti, showing the candle till your hand aches. So they showed the candle, and that's how Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra were installed. So Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani ki jai. So next day Prabhupada goes down to take darshan, and Baladev is there, Subhadra Mai is there, Jagannath is not there. So Prabhupada is shocked. Where is Jagannath? So the disciples said, yesterday Prabhupada in your lecture you said that whatever we like we have to share that with, we have to offer it to the Lord. So whatever we like we're sharing it with the Lord. The people over here like to go on the beaches, so we just took Jagannath for a stroll. We just took Jagannath to the beach, and Prabhupada said that they are proper installed deities. That's not how you treat that's not the fashion in which you treat the deity form of the Lord. And then Prabhupada goes back inside back in his room thinking, and he thinks that maybe that the Lord has manifested in San Francisco. He wants the Rath Yatra procession to also manifest, and that's how the first ever the idea of the first ever Rath Yatra outside Jagannath Puri was conceived. And this is a very important lesson, to learn from the reversals in life and seeing Krishna's plans behind everything. That was Prabhupada was very daksh in this. He was always able to see the hand of God behind each and everything happened in his life. And that's why we see, even in terms of material life, Prabhupada is so successful. Prabhupada would say that, and if there's no one who could actually do something as shocking and as revolutionary as Prabhupada did in just a matter of 10-15 years. No business can actually expand as much as Prabhupada single-handedly with using resources like he engaged the hippies, something the American government was so worried about, and they were thinking how we can get these useless youths engaged in something resourceful. And Prabhupada showed, and American government really thanked Prabhupada for what he did and what he achieved through such limited resources in such limited time. So devotees didn't know what a tulsi plant was. So some Indian man gifted them a plant, and they had heard this in one of the lectures, or they had read this in one of the letters of Prabhupada, that in a temple where devotees are doing bhakti very nicely, where devotion is flourishing, we can see that by how nicely the tulsi plants are growing. So someone got a tulsi plant, and the devotees were watering it, and the plant was like very rapidly growing. So the devotees thought that maybe we were doing bhakti very nicely, and maybe Krishna is very happy. And then some other day, another Indian fellow comes and says that this is not a tulsi plant, this is a bamboo plant you guys are worshipping. And but that's the simplicity of the devotees and the disciples of Prabhupada. One disciple had this dream. One Prabhupada disciple had this dream where Prabhupada was having a conversation with all the acharyas we see on the altar, and he was saying that these hippies, these Western devotees, they don't have any jnana, they don't have any attachment towards towards Krishna. They don't fear Maya. I don't know what to do. But there's one thing, they love me a lot. Their love for me is very genuine. So the acharyas say, if they love you, we'll make sure that they come back to Godhead. The only qualification the devotees should have is that they should love you. And that's what we see in the relationship and in the dealings with of Prabhupada and his disciples, that his disciples would do anything. It was this story I was listening to Amulya Prabhu's lecture, and he was saying that once he was narrating the story where Yamuna Mataji and Prabhupada and his disciples, they were traveling. They were on a journey, on a train journey, and they took out Prabhupada's tiffin, and Prabhupada said that rice means hot. I want some hot rice. And Yamuna Mataji thought that how can we arrange for rice in this moving train? And Yamuna Mataji goes to the train, goes to the cave in the pantry, and she says that I want to cook some hot rice for my Gurudev. And the authority said that no, it's this is not like a restaurant. This is not like a public kitchen where anyone can cook. It's only restricted to the authorities who are assigned by the railway ministry. You can't go in. So Yamuna Mataji said, "Will you let me in, or I'll just jump from this moving train?" And seeing that determination in Yamuna Mataji's eyes, they actually thought that Yamuna Mataji would have actually. They thought that Yamuna Mataji will jump if you don't let her go and cook for Prabhupada. And they said, okay, come. And Yamuna Mataji washes all the utensils, cleans the whole entire kitchen, and then prepares rice for Prabhupada. And then just like how a boy proposes to a girl, she goes with the tiffin with hot rice in it and shows Prabhupada, here's hot rice for you. And Prabhupada said, oh Yamuna, you like my Lakshmi, you like the goddess of fortune for me. And he really relishes that. So we see that the disciples of Prabhupada are ready to go to any extent to serve him, to bring a smile on Prabhupada's face. They don't have that gyan, they don't have a lot to do with what the scriptures say in relations with the high philosophies which we are reading right now. But they just know that they have this genuine desire to bring a smile on Srila Prabhupada's face. And that is their qualification. That is why ISKCON is so successful. Because of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So, Prahlad Prabhu. So, in this temple, this pujari gets a transfer to another temple, and he appoints Prahlad Prabhuji to do the deity worship, but he doesn't know how to do an arti. So he said that the pujari had told that just offer arti, but he did not say for how much time. So Prahlad Prabhu would take incense sticks and wave it for half an hour. Then he would take the lamp and wave it for half an hour. So the whole arti would go for more than 2 hours. And there are 6 such artis which are supposed to happen in a day. 3 I guess. 6, 3. How many artis happen in a day? Anyway, there are quite a number of artis which are supposed to happen in a day. And Prahlad Prabhu was thinking, how will I manage it? The whole day I will just do arti. And then he writes a letter to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says that you have to do this, and just the whole arti has to be maximum for half an hour to 25 minutes. So we see that Prabhupada is giving each and every detail, and he's so engaged. It's not like Prabhupada just says, you guys figure it out. He's telling you, he's teaching, and he's going from the scratch. He's propagating the Krishna conscious movement in a very simple and a systematic way, and realizing that the audience which he's preaching to is they're complete. It's a completely lay audience who are completely new to Krishna consciousness. So, and we see how Radha Gopinath manifested in Sydney. That's also very mysterious, because the story is, in a nutshell, the story is that the devotees were worshipping photos, and one Indian man comes, and because when Indians go to a temple, they expect deities. So he goes and he sees that there are no deities in the altar. So he says that I'll get the deities. So he asks the devotees, why are you not worshipping the deities? So they said that we don't have them, and we don't have the paraphernalia, we don't have the manpower to have deities right now. So he said that I'll get the deities. So he goes to Jaipur. He gets very beautiful beautiful set of Radha Krishna deities made, and he couriers them to Sydney. At that time, devotees were living somewhere else. I think, if I'm not wrong, they were living somewhere in Bondi, and but they had changed their residence, and the deities came, but because there was no one to take the parcel went back to the person, and the person was furious, and he was a bit agitated, and he was walking on the streets in Mumbai, and he sees that the famous Cross Maidan festival happening, and he sees that it's the same Hare Krishna movement, and he thinks I'll go inside and I'll speak to the founder, and I'll say that what was this, that I especially got the deities carved, and I couriered them to Sydney, and they came back. What management is this? So he goes to Prabhupada and narrates all of this, and Prabhupada asks him to bring the deities, and Prabhupada said that I'll take them to Australia myself, and these deities were worshipped along with Radha Ras Bihari in the Cross Maidan festival. So big size deities, Radha Ras Bihari. They worshipped in present. They presently worshipped in ISKCON Juhu, and they had small deities, Radha Gopinath, alongside. So, and that's where His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj first met Srila Prabhupada, and that's also very mysterious because so Maharaj was there for a yoga retreat, and it was the whole day he was just meditating, and he was too tired of meditating, and he thought he'll go for a stroll, where he saw a big hoarding, Prabhupada and his Western and European disciples, with his Western and European disciples, and European Bhakta, and Maharaj was narrating this in one of his lectures, and he said I didn't even know what a Bhakta is. Bhakta was at that point in time, but I knew that it was something religious. So he goes there, and he's very accustomed to seeing supernatural things and abnormal activities done by the Naga sadhus and other sages of Himalayas. But what he experiences here is something very mysterious and very, very different from the culture he's coming from. So he says that his first service was to tie Giriraj Maharaj at that time, Giriraj Brahmachari, had given this service to Radhanath Maharaj to tie the Back to Godhead magazines with the table, because people were stealing the Back to Godhead magazines from there. And even after tying, Maharaj says that they were untying and stealing it, but that was not his service to stop, so he did not intervene in that. And because he was reading the book for so long, they said that now you should get engaged in some service. And later, when Prabhupada was giving a lecture, Prabhupada calls, I think it's Brahmanand Maharaj. So he asks Brahmananda to, he points in the crowd and he asks him to get this person. And Brahmananda is trying to, he's trying to, show actions and ask that person to come up, but no one's coming up. So he's giving his way through the crowd, and he straight away goes to Radhanath Maharaj, who has like long hair at that time, and gets Radhanath Maharaj and says, Prabhupada is calling on the stage. So Radhanath Maharaj, he says that he was very confused, like he was used to these supernatural activities done by these sadhus, but this was something very unusual. And he gets Radhanath Maharaj on the stage, and Radhanath Maharaj sits near to Prabhupada. Prabhupada asks him to sit down, and Prabhupada, he's giving a class in Hindi at this point in time, and Maharaj says that I don't know what Prabhupada was talking about, but the vibrations and the energy which Prabhupada was transmitting, that was just beyond words. So anyway, uh, yeah, so later on, these deities, Prabhupada carries Radharani in his hand and Krishna in his luggage, and he brings him to Sydney, and then Radha Gopinath are installed. The fifth verse would be Gita Bhagavata Chaitanya Premarata Rasara Kathani Sundara Sarala Kariya Ke Bhujite Ara Yadi Prabhupada Naite Tabi Ki Hoitu E Jivana Parita Kishe. So, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita contain the essence of the nectarian mellows of love of Godhead. Who else would have explained these scriptures so clearly and beautifully? So, Prabhupada's books are his spiritual realizations. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj had given this instruction to Prabhupada to write books and to print books. So, it so happened that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj had arranged a very nice setup at a bookstall, and he had this idea that if there's a huge collection of Srila Prabhupada's books and very nicely kept presented, then the possibility is that a lot of books would be sold. But after a month, no books were sold, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj writes a letter, he goes to Prabhupada and tells him what happened. And Prabhupada says that my books are sold because, or are distributed because of the enthusiasm of my disciples. So, especially Bhav Prabhu is one of the top leading book distributors in ISKCON Sydney. So this is what the key to book distribution is, that because of our enthusiasm, we are able to encourage and motivate people to take up to reading Srila Prabhupada books, or take Srila Prabhupada's books, which will help transform their lives. So the disciples were telling Prabhupada that we've displayed your books and we've displayed a prasadam counter nearby, and people come, they buy a lot of books, they buy a lot of prasad, and their pockets are empty. And Prabhupada says, yes, this is my philosophy. Our mission is hands full, stomach full, pocket empty. So we know how Prabhupada, in his last days, there was a disciple, there was a devotee who comes and says, Prabhupada, we've translated these books and we've sold so many books in Yugoslavia. And Prabhupada said, yes, this is what gives me life. Book distribution is something which gives me life. And so because a lack of time, we'll quickly just go through major points. Kathakasta sahi prithamane rahi kevadite harinam kediti modera puri vrindavanam mayapure matadham. Who else would have tolerated all difficulties and distributed Harinam with a pleasant heart? We would have given up the dhamas. Who would have given us the dhamas such as Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri? Prabhupada revealed Mayapur. Before Mayapur was not really, although the Gaudiyas, for Gaudiyas it was a dham, but it was unmanifested and unknown to people even in India. I mean, my family, we didn't know what Mayapur was till the time we were not introduced to Krishna consciousness. And even coming Krishna, this is like my personal realization. Even coming Krishna consciousness, very later we recognize who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually is, and who and where his dham is. So, if not Prabhupada, who would have revealed Mayapur? We know that the TOVP plan is coming up, and it's the Adbhut Mandir which was described by Nityanand Prabhu to Jiva Goswami, and His Holiness Jagadhar Maharaj is working so hard to get that temple open and fulfill Prabhupada's dream. So who would have, if not Prabhupada, who would have revealed this, the glories of these dham? Prabhupada would get his, he would say, white elephants, royal white elephants to Vrindavan, and people who were not inclined towards bhakti, even they were engaged in bhakti, seeing the devotion of Prabhupada's American and European disciples, and the way they were doing bhakti in dham. I was listening to a lecture where he's not this saint is this saint was glorifying Prabhupada, and he was saying that during that time there were no proper roads in Govardhan, and he saw that in scorching heat there was an American disciple of Srila Prabhupada who was offering his obeisances, and his chest, and he was bare chested, and his chest were having burn marks, but still with the level of devotion, with the level of um, engagement in which he was doing his devotion, and he was offering his obeisances to the Lord, which is commendable. So, if not Prabhupada, who would have revealed the glories of the Dham? The teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constitute the greatest and most auspicious treasure. Who else would have engaged us in constantly practicing and preaching it, if not Srila Prabhupada? We know how Prabhupada was so committed. He stopped the translation of Shiven Pr and ensured that the Gaudiya literature, the crest jewel amongst all the Gaudiya literature was Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and how he translated it and translated all the volumes in such a short period of time. And after that, when the disciples the disciples had displayed the Chaitanya Charitamrita books near the Gauranatai altar during the Darshanarti, and during the Darshanarti, everyone was saying Jai Srila Prabhupada with all their heart. And later Prabhupada said that whoever has contributed and helped in publishing this set of Chaitanya Charitamrita, I will personally ensure that all of them go back to Godhead with me. So, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, the last verse would be Prema kalpataro nitai gaurera kripa kanalai vibhara Nairavadhi jaya pratakaritai toman sharanakara. She Nitai Gaur are desired trees of love of Godhead. Desiring a drop of their mercy, Jayapataka's heart instantly takes shelter of your divine grace. So this pastime comes that once Jayapatak Maharaj came to the temple for the first time, and someone gave him beads and said, chant Hare Krishna. And he was chanting, and 1 round, 2 rounds, 16 rounds, and he was crying. And he was shocked, like what kind of a drug or what kind of an intoxication this is. I have never experienced such pleasure. And he was crying when he was chanting the holy names of Krishna. And then later, a disciple, Prabhupada's servant, comes around and he's looking for Prabhupada's beads. And later he realized that he was actually chanting on Srila Prabhupada's beads, and that is why he was experiencing such high symptoms of devotion. It was the first time he was chanting. So these are some of the experiences which Jayapataka Maharaj shares. Another pastime would be that he offered a rose to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada smelled that rose and said, if you give me a rose, I will live longer. And till that day, there has never been a day where Jayapataka Maharaj has missed offering a rose to Srila Prabhupada. So this is the love his disciples have. During his final pastimes, Prabhupada was admitted to this hospital, and Prabhupada said that I don't wish to be in this hospital. I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to be with my disciples. And Brahmanand Swami says that if Prabhupada wants it, I'll do it. And Brahmanand Maharaj is like he's like jacked, and he's got muscles. So he takes Prabhupada's stretcher and he just goes out of the hospital, and the doctor is trying to stop Ramanand Swami. What are you doing? You can't just take Prabhupada like this. And he says, Prabhupada is my father. I will take him, and that's how I'm taking him away. And he takes Prabhupada to the temple, and Prabhupada is very happy. So the only qualification of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada is that they are ready to do whatever it takes to bring a smile on Srila Prabhupada's face. And that's something we can learn and we can imbibe, and we can wish to follow the footsteps of these glorious disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And we see that the glories of Srila Prabhupada, the movement is so nicely being handled and managed by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. They've had such deep realizations and such wonderful pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes I think that I wish I was born during that era so that I could have experienced these pastimes. And I was listening to this lecture where Prabhupada's disciples were saying a similar kind of a statement to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said that actually Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is your grandfather. So he's more merciful on you compared to us, because he was very strict with us, but a grandfather tends to be very lenient and very loving to his grandsons, more loving to his grandsons than he's to his sons. So it means that Prabhupada is our grandfather, the third generation. Prabhupada will be even more merciful to us compared to his own disciples, because Prabhupada knows our condition, knows our level, and the amount of mercy we would receive if we abide by the rules, and if we follow the principles, and if we genuinely inculcate this desire to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, would be way more than what his disciples would have got. So it's already time. I would stop here. Any suggestions, comments, questions? We'll stop here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada's Tirubhav Mahamahotsav ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Karanga. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.